Ooh, new chair. Y'all know I'm gonna be switching up and acting different now. Have any of y'all see this video? Yeah? I'll just tell you. So basically, in Atlanta, Georgia, there's been a huge influx of Waymo cars. I see them everywhere. I see them every single day, multiple ones carrying multiple passengers all the time. And in Buckhead, what recently happened was all of these Waymo cars early in the morning started circling around this cul-de-sac, crowding up this little suburban street, like at 7, 8 a.m. Right, they're like cycling around preparing for when they, take off and do all their rides for the day. This started out as not a huge issue. For the past few months, they would swirl around this cul-de-sac and kind of cause problems, but not that big of a deal. But there's been a whole lot more Waymos in Atlanta as of May. And specifically, these Waymos caused huge traffic instances in these suburban neighborhoods. Artificial intelligent cars with no riders causing huge traffic influxes at 7:30 a.m. in the fucking morning in Atlanta, Georgia. What is happening? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. Waymo cars they've been, you've seen them for the past couple of years touring around cities, and they've really they started amping up quite a bit in February in Atlanta, and they've definitely amped up quite a bit as of May. They're all over the place. I saw this one article that estimated they had maybe they had 100 cars in this Waymo fleet that operates in Atlanta. It's got to be way more than that. Waymo than that. It's got to be Waymo than that, in my opinion. I see them all the time, and they're kind of annoying. They're slow to make turns. They're going exactly the speed limit, which going exactly the speed limit is technically safe. But they're slow to make turns, they're slow to stop, they're slow to take off, and there are a lot of instances of them causing traffic, like they did in the Buckhead neighborhood of Atlanta. There's instances of them hitting pedestrians. There's instances of them being recalled, thousands and thousands of cars being recalled for safety issues. There's incidents where the users are trapped in the cars, which is pretty much every ride because you're not able to get out until you get to your destination. And it's not just in Atlanta, it's all over the American Southeast, Arizona, and all of California. So why is this happening right now? Why are so many American cities being subjected to Waymo vehicles? Well, Google owns these cars. They operate these vehicles, and there's been this push in the tech industry to operate under the automotive industry for a long time. To get into the automotive industry for a long time. I feel like you always hear about the Apple cars and stuff. This is not the first time that Google has tried self-driving cars. I think they started this company in 2003 or 4 or something like that. Uber is actually a pretty nice development in the United States. Of course, it created all these jobs for people who had a car and just wanted to get grinding. I think it's helped a lot with drunk driving instances, where even if you're in some small town in Missouri and you drink a lot that night, you can still get home safely. And I think that AI self-driving Waymo cars are identical to Uber. Let's describe what an AI car is actually doing. An AI car is currently, with Waymos, an SUV Jaguar with generative intelligence and cameras all over it, doing the same exact thing as Uber. You order it, you get in the car, it takes you to your destination, and you pay the fare. The only difference from that is that you have never interacted with a human, making society more antisocial, and someone who could have driven that car for you is not driving that car for you. That money that would have been reinvested back into the lower class is being hoarded by Google, who is, if their Waymos get more serious and they take off this way, Google will almost certainly have the monopoly on artificial intelligence vehicles. What allows this to happen? I think there's a big push in Gen Z to not drive cars anymore. A large portion of Gen Z, maybe even the majority, is all for public transport. They see it as a superior means of travel, especially for trains and stuff. I think that's because there's more traffic in the United States than ever, and we know adding more lanes isn't going to fix that. Cars are way more expensive than they've ever been, and maintaining and and putting money into a car is less desirable than getting into public transport. But what the issue with that is, instead of giving them public transport, someone who can't really, they don't have thousands of dollars to invest in a car right now. They don't want to maintain all of that. Their local government isn't building any public transport. They are going to order an Uber. Or if an artificial intelligence car company is out competing Uber, they're just going to order the AI car. And that system's not going to get changed. But what will still be the same is the traffic and the automotive injury and the automotive death. Waymo claims they have a better safety record than just standard drivers on the road right now, which I'm kind of inclined to believe. And I do think, even if it's not the case right now, it might be the case pretty soon. They will not have a zero death rate like a public rail would, like trains would. They will not have zero pedestrian casualties. They already don't. Like, trains have zero pedestrian casualties. You know what's way more efficient than one person in an AI car on an 8-lane highway? A bunch of people in a bunch of train cars on one track going a certain direction with stops along the way. I mean, I've touched on a little bit. We already have lost a huge social aspect, having to drive everywhere. But we're going to lose tiny fraction of a social aspect there is in Uber drivers. And I know, like, there's this stigma, like, it's awkward to talk to your Uber driver and stuff like that, but that's still a human, that's still better than like complete human isolation. That's going to have huge negative effects on society. You have less autonomy with an AI car. You can't even choose to open the door and get out of the car if you want to. There's cases where the AI car keeps you inside, and instead of going to your destination, it like loops around some places, or it gets stuck somewhere. There's all kinds of stories of Waymos getting stuck right now, and I don't think that will ever change. I had a video recently about the automotive industry being a negative for society. And I think right when we are about to turn the page on that, they come out with like Uber and stuff, and we're about to get this public transport. They have like Uber, which kind of like fills in the gap in a less efficient way for people who are desiring public transport. And then what little good came from Uber of, this millions of people being employed, is now getting hawked and like sucked the life out of by Google Waymo. And yeah, it's in the American Southeast right now and California, but it's coming for you. It's coming to Washington, D.C. next. It's going to come for the Northeast cities. It's going to come for Philadelphia. It's going to come for New York. It's going to be in Boston. It's going for Ohio, almost certainly. You're next. And then you add on, I mean, this isn't even like this isn't even a video about how terrible like AI is on its own, like generative AI and how destructive it is. I mean, that I could go into that all day, and how ridiculous inefficient this process is, and artificial intelligence cars are. And I think it's a huge step in the wrong direction for transportation and ultimately civil engineering and society in our future. And this video is way shorter than I thought it would be, but I guess I don't have much to say except that AI cars are bad, and if someone went out and destroyed some of them or stole some of the more expensive parts found within the luxury brand that is Jaguar, that all Waymo cars operate with, I'm not telling you to do that. I would not fault you for doing that. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.